Alright, hello and welcome to Fight for Blight, Session 22. Family wounds cut deep. Last week, we had left off in a bit of a pickle, but before we get into that, let's do what we normally do, go around the table and see how everyone's week was. Let's start with you, Crix.
I had a pretty good week. I got to spend some time with my family and my new nephew, so that was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Other than that, the rest of it was pretty standard. Lots and lots of work. We got a new guy. He's still figuring it out. That's a headache.
That's always fun. But once they get the hang of it, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, he'll either get it or wash out. I don't really care which.
Hopefully get it, because you guys probably need a little bit of help just like everywhere else.
Yeah, we've been super busy lately again. I don't know where people are getting all this money from.
Yeah, I want to find out too. Since Adachi will be joining us an hour late, May, how was your week?
Pretty good, pretty uneventful. Helped my sister and her boyfriend paint. That was pretty fun. But yeah, nothing much.
And just Stalin, how was your week?
Not much to talk about. It was a pretty chill week, uneventful, but sometimes no news is good news. Next week though, I'll be traveling to Savannah, so I'm gonna be gone all week for training. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it next session, but I'll
Oh
keep y'all
no
posted.
worries. Just do your work training, and we'll just have the week off.
All
Not a
right,
big deal.
all right. That's about it.
But that sounds like a fun time. At least you get to do a little bit of traveling for the training.
Yeah, some decent traveling. Hopefully, it's not training all day long though. That can be exhausting. We'll see.
True. Cryptilly, how about you?
My week was pretty good. We had a pretty good week so far, work wise, unrelated.
Nice. You guys booking a whole bunch of moves, staying busy now?
Yeah, I'm very busy now.
Good, good. Varric, how about you, my friend?
Everything's been pretty cool. Been staying busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, same. Got to hang out with Shot Dog over the weekend. Did some MMA training. I only puked like maybe 6 times,
It was
but
pretty great. It was a great time.
it was hot as hell in that warehouse. But um, Varric, there was you had like a almost like a twin that was there.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I was like, y'all should box when you come down.
I'm not doing that. I like staying awake during the daytime.
Trust me, you'll stay awake because you'll think you're about to die.
That's fair.
But it was a good time. Looking forward to trying to stay motivated the best I can to go out again next Sunday. But other than that, who wants to give the recap?
We made poor decisions.
It's worth a little bit of EXP, yes.
Mistakes were made, for sure.
They weren't mistakes. They were just ill-timed happenings. But we did some cool things last week. We ran into this mysterious green fog. Yeah,
Right now, I'm attempting to hogtie the family. That's a position I never thought I'd be in.
Fortunately, everybody that got possessed had low rolls, so hopefully that can keep up.
But on a serious note, last week we made our way to the stronghold, informed them that we had seen a light. They told us they had seen it as well and thought it was coming this way. So we went to investigate and ended up discovering this fog. We tried to go around it. That didn't seem to be working out well, so somehow we decided to go into it, and then it seems like most of the family was possessed or under some sort of mind control or something. They became hostile, so right now we're trying to incapacitate them.
Yeah, and Crix and May are the only two not who didn't fall under the spell of the fog.
Oh, and Virik shot his cat.
Like he said, mistakes were made.
Not
And
too
Varric's
bad.
the only one that's not hogtied right now, I think, right?
He's the only one that's not restrained in some degree. Only Justalin is hogtied, and the other two are grappled by me.
Correct.
I'm definitely down for the count. Yep.
Oh, also, we went back to our crystals early on in last week's session and gave them orders in hopes that that may do something. And that's really all I remember.
Yeah, I know around that time, Adachi got some new abilities, which Cryptilli did not like at all, as he was trying to pickpocket me.
Yeah, he had the invisibility tattoo, I believe. Try to put that to good use.
Yes, I'm glad that
Now,
we
my
had the...
question is his tattoo invisible?
Oh, no, it's not. He did show you it.
Only when he's invisible.
Yeah,
I think.
when he's invisible, nothing, even the stuff he's wearing is... It is also invisible. Right? Yeah. Anything else? Uh-oh. Am I muted?
And we can now.
Yep.
Nice.
So I was gonna say, for a moment there, I didn't think that you were gonna cover too much, but other than the condition of Exarch Stronghold when you had returned being a bit better, that was a pretty good recap. Without any further ado, let's get into our story with this. Continuing on, May 3rd, year 1101, as the royal siblings find themselves in a very dire situation. Only Mayvara and Crix seem to have their wits about themselves as the other siblings attack and are attempting to kill their brother and sister. Surrounded by a green mist, a greenish haze is engulfing the entire area, the sounds of combat ringing out, echoing over the snowy plains. As the bits of snow plume up from the steps and the tussle between tying up Justalin with Mayvara, each of you notice that there is quite a bit of blood mixed up about the roughed up snow as well. At this point, Crix and Mayvara, can each of you give me a perception check? As stated, Justalin is restrained by the rope. Adachi and Cryptilli are held, grappled by Crix and his shadow. Only Vieric remains free, firing arrows from a distance. As the sounds of combat continue to ring out, May, you are in a bit of a tussle, and with emotions engulfing you, you are just lost amongst the combat. Crix, you have a little bit more of a keen ear as you hear what sounds to be marching, but not only marching, a marching formation. An army seems to not be too far away. With the sound carrying at this distance, you know it's fairly large in size.
May, do you hear that? It sounds like a lot of people coming.
I don't hear anything. Should we get out of here, or?
Yeah, we need to finish this up as quickly as we can. We need to get out of here.
So, with only a couple rounds into combat, we'll begin with Just Stalin. Just Stalin, I will need a strength or an athletics check from you at disadvantage, please. Finding yourself still restrained by the rope, we move on to Creptilli. And the same thing, Creptilli, I will need an athletics check from you, and I need an opposing one from Crix. As Creptilli struggles, Crix, you're able to just bear hug her down a bit more. Is reminding you of when you used to bully your siblings when each of you were much younger. Being a bit more strong than the others seems to be at your advantage. Mayvara.
So I'm gonna run around to.
May, get Adachi.
Yeah, I was actually gonna run here and try to tie Creptilli and Adachi to each other back to back. As Crix is grappling them.
I see that how it would be possible, but explain to me how you would like to go about this, because I feel like a lot of movement would be involved.
So the shadow is grappling Adachi, and Crix is Creptilli. Is that what's happening?
The shadow has Adachi and Crix has Creptilli.
Okay. I forgot the shadow wasn't Crix's. The shadow was a different person. Yeah, I'm just gonna run up to right in between them, and as they hold them together, I'm gonna try tying Adachi's wrist first, and then trying to strap him to Creptilli, and just as much loops as I can get around them, and tie a solid knot.
Okay, attempting to prevent this, Adachi will give a bit of a struggle. Go ahead and give me an athletics check. At advantage since they are restrained or grappled. Oh, no problem. Even though Adachi is attempting to fight this with all of his might, you wrap him up. The shadow is giving you quite a bit of an assistance with this as you begin to hog tie up Adachi as well. For a little ribbon on top, can you go ahead and give me a survival check? Thank you. Anything else for your turn?
If they're effectively, oh no, that's it. I'm gonna stay there.
Crix.
Alright, so I am going to have my shadow move towards Virik. To there.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action to use Shadow Swap. To move me to there, and then I'm going to use the remainder of my movement, because it takes half my movement to use Shadow Swap, to get up to Virik and grapple him.
Out of curiosity, how close do you have to be to your shadow?
It has to end, when my turn ends, it has to be within 30 feet of me. So it will disappear at the end of my turn from this distance.
I wanted to double check because I noted it was a little far and I couldn't remember if it was like 30 or 45. But I
No,
wanna
it's
feel
30.
one of those.
But it can move any amount of distance during my turn and not be dispelled. It's at the end of my turn if it's outside of my range that it's gone.
Got it. Thank you. So, Virik, give me an opposed athletics check. Roll high, man. Make it interesting.
Yes.
Or not.
Go Crick.
With this one being a bit more of a tussle, if you will, Virik, being the older brother, is putting up a very tough fight, but you are able to grapple him as well.
I'd expect nothing less of the future king.
Give me a...
And with that, that will end my turn, and my
Okay.
shadow will dissipate.
Poof. Virik, we gotta get away from this.
I hope not.
Give me an athletics check. Son of a gun. Crick's
Yes.
too strong. Still struggling, attempting to break free. Virik, unable to do so. Adachi will attempt to break free. Doubt that this will go well. Ooh, a 19. And I actually dropped a natural 20 from that as well. So that was a natural 20 and a natural 19, plus 0 modifiers for Adachi. Adachi begins to wiggle and break out of the ropes, May. You're able to see this as a bit of a flame is produced from the hand, and it just begins to just snap and pop the rope, lit bit by bit, as the rope becomes untwined. Justalin, athletics check at disadvantage, please. Ooh,
Seriously,
this is getting interesting.
talking about balance.
At the moment, I believe Creptilli is free.
I thought she said she bound both of us together.
No, you're only able to do one at a time. I think May changed her mind actually to just going for Adachi as well. If I'm not mistaken.
I mean, definitely this was like part of the options, but I like kind of understood that was, my understanding was like that was what was possible, but
Okay.
so yeah, creep is not bound.
All right, Creptilli, Can you reach out and give me a chill touch? And as the necrotic energy begins to flow from Creptilli's hand, you see this slight black energy emitting from her, and it breaks just before she reaches out to try to touch you, May. We'll keep you there, Creptilli. May, it's your turn.
Okay, so May is gonna pull out her short sword and attempt to hit Creeptilly in the head with the hilt as hard as she can.
The tip
Try
of
to
the
knock her
sword,
out.
got it.
So what would that be?
Just a regular attack roll, and because specifically stated, it will be temporary damage. And then once the temp gets up to like the HP, I believe, still knock unconscious. Oh! Hitting as hard as you can, indeed. Right square in the noggin. Go ahead and roll me damage. Alright, so Cryptilli, just go ahead and -8 from your HP, but this is just like non-lethal temporary damage, essentially. I guess all damage is essentially temporary because it does get healed over time. But it's
Yeah, no
non-lethal.
worries.
Non-lethal is the point. But a crack on the head is delivered as you see Cryptilli kind of shake at the knees. Definitely did a bit of damage, but Cryptilli's still standing.
I'm gonna go for a second. Pull out my second short sword to do 2-weapon fighting. Do the same thing.
Got it. I don't think a 15 hits.
No, that does not.
I think
Yeah.
you just got some good plate armor.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, so with that, May is going to. Behind us is like an embankment of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Not really to do it. Okay, so May is gonna come back this way. How tall is it?
It's inclined a little over 5 foot.
So if I'm standing behind it, like I wouldn't be able to see Vieric and Crix if I was on the other side of it.
If you were like down here essentially, and you were crouching and like underneath the 5 foot, then yes, exactly.
Cool.
But I do believe you're over 5 foot tall. So you'd
Yeah,
still be
you're
able to
right.
see over it.
No, you're right. I didn't. When you said 5 feet, I don't know why I was like, oh man, that's too tall. But you're right. Okay. So yeah, come back here. And I get Nyx to come. Hopefully Kitty follows. And I yell, sorry, sister.
Is that it for your turn, May?
Yes.
All right. Crix, you have your grappled.
Sorry, Your Highness, but it's time for Plan B. So I'm gonna summon my shadow on the other side of Vieric, and I'm going to have it attack him.
Vieric, I do have a bright side to this for you.
I'm waiting on it.
At least you might feel it's a 2v1. It's an unfair fight. Does a 19 hit you? I believe it does.
By the way, this is non-lethal.
Thank you for specifying.
Yeah, it hits.
Roll me damage. Oh! Is that max? Oh yeah, it is. 14 damage to you, Virik.
Oof.
Are you still up?
Yeah, I got 6 points left.
Alright, I'm gonna burn a charge of Shadow's Wrath and attack him again.
Got it. Come on, natural 20. Ooh, close, and it was a 19. 25's a hit. And Virik is knocked unconscious.
Meg, get
Nice.
Virik out of here.
You said May get Virik out of here?
Yeah. He's unconscious now, so just drag him out of the smoke.
Put sleepy guy on you.
I'll handle the rest. We're gonna have to go with plan B and just knock him out.
Dog's beginning to bark. Now seeing this become quite a bit more physical. They're unsure of what is going on.
I'm gonna move to this position, and that will end my turn.
Eric, you are knocked unconscious, but this is non-lethal damage, so just basically, essentially getting into a brawl and getting knocked out.
Perfect.
With this, it'll become Adashi's turn, and Adashi will attempt to shoot a firebolt at you, Crix. That is a 7.
That does not hit.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Alright, good. So with that missing, it will... Adashi will move a little bit, but it'll become your turn, Justalin.
What will I do?
You're gonna run up and, knowing, Crix is useless without his shadow, I want you to swing your short sword at the shadow after taking a step forward, and then follow with a roundhouse kick towards Crix. .22 on the shadow.
That hits.
Shadow. Go ahead and give me the unarmed attack. And another strike. 8 points of damage as he kicks you like right in the solar plex, Crix. And luckily for you, you can always just bring the shadow back. Thank you, Justalin.
So glad he has that shadow.
it's basically just a damage absorber. I mean, if it gets hit. Other than that, it's basically a tactician. Cryptilli, you are going to continue and chase down Mevada. Making your way up to either Nyx or Kitty. You're not very sure. And to be honest, neither am I. But the one that's out in front of you, reach out and she'll touch it. I thought that was going to be a natural 20 for a second.
Oh, it doesn't hit.
Here comes your turn, May.
All right, so I'm gonna go for the 2 swords again.
Got it. Give him the old bop bop. Here comes like 2 natural 20s.
Don't jinx me.
Oh, 20. That's a hit.
An unnatural 20.
And 5 points of damage. Take the first one.
Oh, did I hit it twice?
Is a 19 hit Cryptilli? I think that meets your AC.
Yeah, no, that's one above.
Oh,
That
okay,
hits.
18 then. Go ahead and roll me damage. Another 5, so another total of 10 points of damage to you, Cryptilli. Feel at this point you're looking a bit rough.
Just a little bit.
You're like barely hanging on.
Do I still have to disengage in order to, after I gave her this beat down?
Yeah, so disengage would be in your action though.
Yeah, for sure. I'll remain here. I do command Nyx to move, and I'm hoping Kitty follows Nyx. Yeah, command them both.
Yeah, you can easily. Plus, at this point, Kitty having an arrow in her, definitely more willing to listen to you than than Vieric.
We'll be friends again one day, hopefully.
Hopefully. But May, if that's the end of your turn, that'll bring us to Crix.
Yeah, that's the end of my turn.
All right, Crix. Just Stalin came up, booped your shadow, and then booped you.
I'm gonna have my shadow form behind him, and then I'm gonna unleash a series of attacks from me and my shadow.
These trickery.
Non-lethal, of course.
Oh, I don't think a 12 hits. Just
Nope.
Stalin can. Yes, I was gonna say, can you confirm? A 21 does hit though.
Definitely, yeah, because I have 17.
Nine points of damage to you, just Stalin.
Gotcha.
And then I'm gonna use Action Surge for one more attack. Also, I burned my last charge of Shadow's Wrath just there, so...
Got it. Oof. A good
Okay.
attempt.
And that will end my turn.
I think it's pretty evident that attempting to harm your family is proving a bit more emotionally difficult. Whether or not you are actually cutting them deep or not, this is hard. Alright, Adachi, my little DPS. Shit! Just rolled a natural 1.
Classic.
Good, his spell should blow up in his face and knock him out.
No, that's not fair. Imagine if you guys did that on a boss fight.
Yeah.
With the spell just fizzling out from Adashi's fingertips, this small flame emits before just smoldering itself. At this point, Crix and May, can you give me a perception check and advantage? With little bits of combat dying down with Vieric being knocked unconscious, the sounds of the formation that Crix had pointed out earlier, May, you hear them now too. The sounds of a marching formation still getting closer. Just Stalin. It's now or never. Give me 2 attacks on Crix. Sword and punch. Little cross. A 19 Crix.
That meets my AC.
Ooh, that's a hit. 8 points of damage. And 23 hits as well.
Sorry, bro.
Justalin seems to find his footing after taking a bits of wallops on the head. It's knocked his fighting sense back into him. And connecting twice, slashing into you once with the sword, and then punching into the same wound, you feel the blood begin to trickle down your body. Cryptilli, shocking, give me the chill touch. I was gonna say shocking grasp. Give me the chill touch on May, please. There we go. It's still a 1 on damage,
That definitely hit.
but it hits, and little bits of the necrotic energy trickle out, flickering just a tad bit off of you, May. If anything was close, you know that they would have been affected as well. But it's now your turn, May. Give him another boop boop.
Finish her off.
One second. So actually, instead of that, I'm gonna call to Nyx and say, Nyx, pounce! And Nyx is gonna use her pounce, which is a DC 12 strength save. And you have to succeed the saving throw or be knocked prone. If the target is prone, the panther can make one bite attack against it as a bonus action.
Nyx pounces, but Cryptilli, having a steady base, pushes the panther away. Nyx falls into the snow. I believe that does take your action.
It does.
It was a good thought. He has been rolling pretty bad on strength checks.
Yeah. It would definitely been better to hit him with the old pop pop.
Was that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's the end of my turn.
With the sound still growing closer, we move to Crix.
First thing I'm gonna do is action surge, or not action surge. What's it called? Second wind. So that's a D10 plus 4
Nice.
health, so that's 13 health for
13
me.
hit points, 1 off of max. Natural 9 on the dice, pretty nice.
And then I'm going to attack Justalin.
.24 will hit. Go ahead and roll that non-lethal damage. 8 points, Justalin. I think that
Got it.
gets you pretty close to being knocked unconscious as well. I think you're in single digits. I'm going off of like memory, which could be very, very wrong.
I have 12.
Okay, I was gonna say, so
Not
that, like,
much,
don't
though.
feel like you're doing anything wrong. I'm kind of estimating. But definitely looking a bit roughed up at this point. Is that it for your turn?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's gonna end my turn.
Dashi will do this, actually. Alright. Going to go ahead and shoot a firebolt. An 11. Missing you again, Crix. This one does shoot off, but it hits the snow, and the snow just smolders out the firebolt. Just stalling. Uh, 14's a miss.
I'm going to use one of my combat maneuvers, Repose. Since he missed me, I can make a attack against him. I forgot I could do that.
Do you believe that falls under your reaction?
Yes, and I have not used my reaction yet.
Correct. Good call, good call.
And I get to add a d6 to the damage if I hit.
Ooh. 25 hits. This could be enough to take Just Stalin down. You said you get to add a d6 to the dice? It's gonna be nice. Ooh, more than enough. Go ahead and roll that d6 too. BAM! And Just Stalin, as you take a swing forward with the short sword, Crix finds an opening, parries your attack a bit, knocking your sword up, leaving your abdomen exposed, flips the glaive over, hits you with the handle, and you fall unconscious. Well, since you're unconscious, that does pretty much mean that's the end of the turn, so, Cryptilli.
Kyle, your mic went crazy.
Oop, does that sound better now?
Yes.
Yep.
It was just because I was swapping windows. I think it always does that, but I usually try to time it a little bit better. Cryptilli, with it being your turn, let's go ahead and take care of that pesky animal that tried to pounce on you. Feeling yourself a bit enraged after that, reach out and chill touch.
That hits.
That'll play. Go ahead and roll me damage. 4 points of damage to Nyx, and I do believe that'll trickle over to May as well.
Because I'm next to her?
I believe
It does
as long
AoE.
as it's necrotic, it deals, like, it can go bounce off to another target within 5 foot. It's kind of
Ooh.
AoE, a little bit more of a chain.
Cool. But for a second, I was just worried it was like a beast companion thing that I like somehow missed. But awesome.
But, May, brings us back to you.
Okay, so seeing that, May's gonna hit Creep with a non-lethal pow pow. Did I say Crix? I meant Creep too. Okay. You guys know who I meant.
23 hits.
Juicy. Deal the damage. This got close for a moment. 7 points. Think that was enough to take you down, or were you at 8?
I'm still up.
I want to say it was 7 or 8. Am I right on that, or am I off?
I got 3 more.
No. Well, this could be it then. This could be it.
20 hits.
Oh! Breaking Cryptilli's nose. No, not really. Making the nose bleed just a bit with another bop. Cryptilli falls unconscious.
Let's load them on the sleds, brother. You'll have to drive. It's not that hard. It's really much more about just hanging on.
Still gotta get the little one.
True.
You work on loading. I'll take care of Adachi.
The light
Understood.
work. Quite literally, lighter. But May, anything else for your turn?
No, that's it.
All right. Crix.
Shadows go in there, and then I'm using my bonus action to shadow swap.
big gulp for Adachi.
And then I'm going to go for an attack.
Easy peasy. A 21 hits. For 7 points of damage.
And that's gonna end my turn.
Alright, which then will bring us to Adachi. Thinking.
Go on, swing at me, I dare you.
Adachi goes invisible.
Didn't he already use that skill today?
He didn't. He has a slot left.
Oh, okay. I thought they were once a day things. Never mind.
Jocelyn's knocked out. Creptilli's knocked out. May, it's your turn.
So I'm just gonna drag Creep from here. Try to throw her on the sled.
Now, attempting to drag will have your movement, just so you are aware. But you will be able to use like your dash action to fulfill your full movement.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I use my dash action and I drag her and throw her on this sled.
Just move her to there. Anything else? Just all in pretty close by.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm able to reach over and pull him and somehow secure them to the cargo, I'd like to do that.
Sure. We'll say securing them down will just take like a turn, but you can get them both on the sled.
Awesome. That's the end of my turn.
Crix. As I was just going to point out, as Adachi had gone invisible, you know these tricks, and you begin to look around. What's your passive perception? I believe it's like an 11.
Passive 14. Nope, that's wrong. No, yeah, it is a 14.
Well, 14, a bit higher than I thought it was. You notice that the indentation in the snow has only moved a little bit. It's right off to your right.
I'm going to swing at the indentation in the hopes that I hit him.
Okay, go ahead and give me an attack roll at a disadvantage.
Real quick, I'm going to use my last maneuver to do precision attack to add a d6 to the hit roll to see, you know.
Okay.
That was not a d6, sorry.
I'll still take the 2. I'll take the 1.
Does a 12 hit him?
No, it does not.
Well, that ends my turn.
So, in the spot that you swung, you see Adachi kneeled down just a bit, and unsheathing a sword, you see the sword begin to emanate with a bit of arcane magic and attempts to take a swing at you. A 23.
That does hit.
Hold on, I want to make sure because I'm looking. Okay, I was gonna say, I was looking and seeing booming blade on an attack, but then I wasn't finding it under spells, so I wanted to just double check, make sure that that wasn't a mishap. That would be 7 points of damage. Not that much thunder. May, it's your turn.
So I spend this turn tying them down, I guess.
It'll require your action.
Yeah.
Still got movement.
Oh.
And a bonus
Okay.
action.
Well, May's gonna run to Virik. Oh, sorry. Run to Virik and get ready to pull him back to the other sled. And I call Nyx and Kitty back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of my turn.
Crix.
Does the husky give me advantage?
I was thinking about it, but you guys haven't like trained them to like fight or anything, so they're just causing more of a commotion than anything.
I was mostly just joking anyway.
No, I really did think about it though, because on the 16 I was like, I wonder. 18 will hit. And 13. Oof.
How's he looking?
Still up, but not well.
Well, that's gonna end my turn.
Alright, and retaliation attack. Whoop. Nope, it's just doing that. Woo, natural 20. This is gonna hurt, Crix.
It might not.
So I'm just gonna take the first damage rolled from the crit from the scimitar. Because for whatever reason, this is. I'm just kind of casting it weird. I'm not really used to casting a dashi sheet. Definitely used to NPCs, but it's a 9 and a 4 for the crit, for the slashing, so that's 13. And then I'm just gonna multiply the thunder damage, so it's a 2, so 4. That's 17 points of damage.
I'm still up.
What a strong individual you are.
I truly am.
May, Adachi putting up a fight. The younger sibling seems to be the more, well, resistant of the four.
Yeah, I definitely drag Virik to the further sled.
Got it? And using your dash to get all the way over there.
And I yell to Crix, Virik is secured. I can take the others and head out if you think that's best.
Just go, I'll finish this. As I'm panting a little bit, I'm definitely not looking amazing at the moment.
Just to double check, May, do you have a bonus action you'd like to take? If not, it'll be Crix's turn.
No bonus action.
Crix. $14?
Does that hit Adachi?
No, it does not.
Is a health potion a bonus action or a full action?
A free action, as long as
It's a free action?
as long as it's quickly accessible, and not like for like an example like a bag of holding.
Okay, yeah, I keep one on me.
Okay,
So I'm gonna just chug a healing potion real quick.
got it.
I forget how much they heal for.
2d4 plus 2.
So that's 8 points of health I'll get back, and unfortunately that will end my turn.
Attempting the same thing. Well, that's a natural 1. And another natural 1 on damage. Even if it would have hit, it would have been bad damage. So Adashi's swinging forward with the scimitar. You can see the arcane energy flowing from it, and this little bits of like lightning just emanating as it swings wide. May, it's your turn.
So I yell to Crix, are you sure, brother? As I'm like running to the sled.
Just go!
And then I take off. I call to Nyx and Kitty to follow me. And I take off in like if due south, like turning the sleds around is like the fastest way to get out of the cloud as far as I know. But like that's the
Of course, rotating around, but then it'll look weird.
yeah. Sorry, I'm picturing a bunch of like
See?
dogs. Oh, nice.
There we go. Looks normal.
Oh yeah.
Getting a bit away. Go ahead and just make sure you don't. Well, you have advantage on this now, so it's almost impossible for you to fail, but it's still possible. Go ahead and give me an athletics check at advantage.
I usually do acrobatics. Can
Oh
we
yeah,
do that?
athletics or acrobatics. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. I was gonna say basically just don't need to roll a 1, and you begin to make your way away. With that being your turn, Crix.
Shift down there, summon my shadow, and go for another attack on Adachi.
You son of a gun. That'll hit. And he will be knocked unconscious.
Cool. That ends my turn, but yeah.
Okay, well, with there being little bits of an issue, May tearing out, at this point, I need Crix, you to give me a perception check at advantage. Still being a bit of off, you begin to hear the breaking formations of the ranks of this march that was coming your way. You begin to hear the sounds of roaring thunder, of an army trampling through the snow, making its way towards your location. Bits of yells beginning to be heard off into the distance. And even with it still being a little bit of ways, you begin to see the beginnings of individuals making their way over a hill.
Are
So
they
far, you
in
count
the
6.
gas?
Yes, they are.
Okay. I'm gonna grab Adachi, heft him into the sled, and then try and tear out of here. I'm not gonna try and secure him or anything. I'm just gonna throw him into the bucket essentially and just get gone.
With the Shadow's assistance, I'm seeing that this can be a little bit easier completed than May doing this with just one pair of hands. The only thing I need from you is an athletics or acrobatics check. Your choice. 11. It's a bumpy ride. You're barely hanging on, but you're able to do so. Which way are you heading?
The same way May went.
Alright. So that'll pull us out of combat as each of you are now beginning to make your way out of the green fog. And within just a few moments, heading full speed, you begin to see a brighter side. The light seems to be emitting through just a bit, and Crix being just a tad bit behind. As you make your way out, May, you see Crix essentially attempting what looks to be riding a wild horse and being quite untamed, flailing about, but it kind of just gives you maybe a little bit of laughable memories with your troubles in the beginning as well. But each of you find your way out and into a bit of safety. Just as a reference, as each of you have made your way out, you look back, you will see that the fog is still crawling ever so slowly down to the south.
This is like yelled, or I guess I slow down a little bit so Crix can catch up, and I say, we should keep going for a while. Get a ways away from the fog before we try to revive everyone.
I couldn't agree more, sis.
Should we head back straight for Exarch's stronghold?
That's what I was thinking. We're not in good shape right now.
Proud of us, brother. Especially of you. Mush! And she's like off.
May would notice that Crix looks visibly exhausted from that fight. And he's in pretty rough shape. But he's hanging on to the sled.
Word.
So, what time of day is it? Like right now?
The time of day, it is getting a little bit late afternoon. You had made your way here just around noon, and then with a bit of experimenting, trying to maneuver around, and also having that bit of combat, you have eaten up a little bit of time. call it around 3 o'clock.
So we have maybe like a couple hours left before nightfall.
Are we too far away to make it back to Exarchs before, well, around nightfall? Maybe an hour or two after?
Judging from the distance, it will be relatively close to that time frame, yes. Especially with you knowing the amount of distance covered, but also the how to say difficult how difficult it is to do the dog sled.
Well, let's push on, brother. And I reach over and I do a cure wounds on Crix.
Okay. Crix, 5 points of healing.
I feel much better. So yeah, I think in our semi-panic of the situation, we would try to make it all the way back to Exarchs at this point to regroup.
All right. So pressing on. As each of you continue just a bit, if there's anything you'd like to exchange, words as your siblings are knocked unconscious, feel free to do so. The only thing I'll need from each of you is yet another perception check. Not making it too far away from the fog, still seeing it, the greenish hue in the distance. You know it to be somewhat close. However, you see an individual that you both recognize running frantically through the snow. As it becomes into a bit of a clearer view, you would know this individual to be Lady Faye.
Is she running towards us from Exarch's direction or towards us out of the fog?
She is, as you all had taken like a bit of like a southeastern direction in order to make a more direct line back to the stronghold, it seems that she is running almost directly north to the south. But it does seem that she's come from the fog.
Lady Faye, I call out.
As each of you are approaching, still a bit of a distance away, you see her stop and turn. And as she looks towards you, the wind still whipping about, you don't hear her voice, but you see the arms waving over her head.
I slow the sled down to talk to Crix, and I say, Crix, perhaps she wasn't affected by the fog.
I'm wary of that as well. I know it may be callous, but honestly, I feel like the family's more important.
But she knows magic or other things. She may know how to defeat the fog or how to, cure our siblings.
She could also be under the control of the fog, and in our condition, there's not much we can do. We don't understand what just happened. And I fear I may fall next fight if I don't get some rest. and the family with us.
How far is Faye?
After you slow down the sleds, the gap closes fairly quickly. But this time you're able to time it a little bit better, and you even kind of corral Crix's sled in order for him to stop appropriately as well. And then she's about 45 foot away as she begins jogging towards each of you.
And I yell, Lady Faye, are you yourself?
So you know, and it's looking over the rest of the siblings. How long have they been like this?
Well, it just happened. And I motioned to her to like run and hop on my sled.
She does so.
Okay,
Seeing
so as soon
Crix's
as
sled is quite crowded with the shadow.
as soon as she's on, I, yell mush and sort of explain to her what just happened.
Did you find them? Or was it just amongst yourselves?
Who's them?
Exarch and the others.
Possibly. We did hear signs of a large force in the fog, but I only saw a couple individuals and I didn't identify them. So, I don't know.
Then it was you that they had run towards. That was my only chance to make my escape. I heard something off in the distance. I wasn't sure what it was, but once they began to sprint, it's when I decided to break.
How did you remain unaffected?
Points to her mind, and then to her heart, and then up to the gods. The strength of will, and by the protection of the gods above, you all aren't safe here. You must make your way back to the castle immediately.
Can you help us revive our siblings?
I will do what I can. Are they dead?
No, merely unconscious.
Good. Perhaps we have time then. And just because, in case any of you aren't familiar, being knocked unconscious basically is about 10 minutes. So, just making sure and seeing if there's like a little bit of flavor that you'd like to add to it, I guess. What would each of you like to do to remain, or keeping your siblings unconscious for this time frame?
Honestly, Crix in his mindset would have just thought getting them out of the fog would fix the problem, so he wouldn't do anything. He would just want to get to Exarchs as quickly as possible to regroup.
Same with me. Exactly.
Well, Faye will tell you keeping them unconscious till back to the stronghold is going to be best. They will not be themselves until she can help.
Well, how can we keep them unconscious?
We're gonna have to have May bonk them.
Exactly. I imagine Crix using his shadow, basically playing whack-a-mole with the ones on his sled, and then Lady Faye assisting you, May, and bopping the others.
No. I can't be
Anytime
serious.
we see him stir, my shadow will just slap him around a bit and make him stop moving.
Take 1 point of temporary damage, or non-lethal damage, and be knocked back unconscious. And this will need to continue because there is quite a bit of distance to cover. But with the little bits that Crix slows you down, but is still able to maneuver the sled, each of you will return to the stronghold. Oops, there we go. Return to the stronghold quite late into the night, as each of you had progressed through the day, checking back over your shoulder here and there, after creating a little bit of a distance, roughly 30 minutes to an hour away from when you exited the green fog. The green fog's hue vanishes, being lost from sight. But being back at the stronghold, safe and sound. The only thing of note is that each of you, Crix and May, you will take 1 point of exhaustion just because of pushing yourself through for a longer period of time.
And as we travel, can we ask Lady Faye what the fog was and just what her knowledge of it was?
Well, ever since we left North Point, we sent word back to Blight, and then when going through the forest, we saw the fog creeping in. We thought it to be the gnolls, so we took a stand and prepared for battle. But then nothing came. Then anyone with your faces, your father, the family, each of you, all your faces came to mind. But before I was able to break away, I'm not sure what the others had seen, but I doubt that it was good. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it seems to have an effect. Almost directed to each of you.
Are you saying you think that it moves in our direction?
No, I'm saying whatever it does.
It wants us.
You're correct. But then again, I'm not quite sure. I've never seen anything like it.
Is it some sort of spell?
I don't
Or
know.
is it an entity that's living?
Possibly. It moves almost with an intent. Went into Windhelm, caused quite a bit of havoc, and then began to head south.
Are there more in the fog than just Exarch's forces that you know of?
I'm not sure.
So when we get back to Exarch's, oh, we're already at Exarch's stronghold.
Like the manor music, bring everyone out of the weather.
So what will happen as our siblings start to revive? Will they still be in that mindset?
If you let them just awaken, yes, it seems so. The only way to stop it that I'm aware of is with quite strong magic. And being back at the stronghold, gathering bits of supplies, will take a bit of time, but she will be able to do so.
Can we have one of the guards on duty get us some manacles to restrain our siblings until they are, in their own minds again? Just so we don't have any unexpected mishaps.
Of course. Way less fun than just knocking him back unconscious, but more civil.
No more bopping people.
Good thinking.
I don't want to hurt you all.
All right. Just so you all are aware, I won't be able to do. I won't be able to save or reverse this if it were to happen again. But after I prevented it from overtaking my mind, I seemed to be quite all right walking amongst them in the fog, as long as I seemed I had the same intention as them. And she will then cast 1, 2, 3 Oh, yeah, I forgot. I can actually just upcast the same spells. She will get everybody back to normal. At this point, just Stalin, Kreptili, and Virik, as each of you snap back to, along with the Dashi, the last thing you all remember is going into the fog. But now, you find yourself back at Exarch's Manor, back at the stronghold. Your head's hurting. You feel bits of wounds, bruises, tiny bits of cuts. And you find each of yourselves bound by manacles, while Crix and Mavara, along with Lady Faye, look over each of you. We'll go ahead and take our break there and get back to it in just a moment. So, be right back and see you all in about 5 minutes.
Sounds good.
And we're back. So, with the four of you gaining a bit of reconsciousness, Adachi still seeming a bit out of it, taking a little bit more of a beating, it seemed, and being a bit more exhausted from the previous fight. As stated, Justalin, Virik, and Kreptili, each of you, the last thing you remember is going into the fog, but now you're here, back at the manor.
This feels like the worst hangover ever.
Crix, did you sneak all of us?
I did what had to be done. I apologize.
So you do seem to have taken quite a bit of a beating. Kreptili, and she extends a hand to you. Do you mind giving me a bit of a hand with this?
With what? What's happening?
She'll begin to remove your manacles and ask for your assistance with prayer of healing.
I'll assist her.
Go ahead and roll me your prayer of healing. It'll go off a little bit quicker, but each of you will gain quite a bit of health back. Along with Nyx and Kitty as well. Each of you gain 22 points of healing. Well, I'm not sure what your plans are, but I think that each of you need to make your way back to the castle immediately. When we made our way in, the town seemed a bit quiet other than the guard here. I suggest they leave as well.
So you recommend that everyone retreats?
Until we find a way to deal with this in a mass way. I can only do this individually. And I don't believe, forgive me, Princess, but you to be strong enough yet. She looks over towards you, Kreptili.
What is it that needs to be done?
You need to be a bit like walking one with the gods, step in step, in order to overcome this magic.
The fog. The fog that we walked into. It changed you all. You attacked us. And in the fog was Exarch and other soldiers. A whole army.
Do none of you remember anything?
Do
I
we?
remember nothing.
Would we remember anything?
Mm-mm. Not one bit. It's your sister's right. Smacks Adachi. Stop doing that. Knocking the dirt down.
I'll try to let out a smile, but notice like my nose still hurts.
I bring Creep like a wet rag, clean, and I sort of like offer it to her and I say, "Your nose, that was me. How are you feeling?"
It's quite painful, but I guess you got me good.
Yes,
Mm.
Virik. To answer your question, you will notice, not necessarily an arrow. I imagine that being addressed by this time, but definitely a bit wounded. Until the healing had gone off.
May, what happened to Kitty?
I shot her. She was taken over by the fog. I'm sorry.
Why would you do that? What the hell, Crix?
I had no other choice. I am sincerely sorry. I had to do what I did.
Look, we pummeled all of you. And by we I mean both of us. So
Can Crix and Vieric GM roll me a roll of Crix? I'll need a deception, and Vieric, I will need an insight.
How do you GM roll?
You'll need to do it manually. So each of you just type into the chat /GM roll, and then just do 1d20, and you can each tell me your modifiers, or just add to it if you already know them. But if you're gonna add to it, you just do the 1d20 plus the mod number.
Did that work?
It did. Okay. Carry on. Neither of you will know, but Vieric, carry on with your feelings. As you were saying.
So why is she hiding from me?
well, it was very confusing for her. You turned as well. Poor thing. And I call Kitty over and I like pet her and try to like get her to see that Vieric is chill.
So I'm gonna kneel down and say, "Come here, kitty."
Go ahead and give me an animal handling check. This animal handling check will just be a normal one. Definitely seems a bit reluctant. Doesn't come.
There
So
may be some lingering effects from the fog. I'm sure it'll clear up and she'll get back to normal.
you're right. I should give her time, I guess. And I'm gonna walk away scratching my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Lady Faye, um, is there like any specific spells or words that we might be able to use to help overcome people from the fog?
I'm only certain of one way at the moment, but I don't know how to stop it, if that's what you mean.
And well, how did you clear it from affecting us?
With magic. He used a little bit more of a powerful form of dispel magic.
Hmm.
At its normal power, it doesn't seem to have any effect.
I see. I haven't been blessed with that knowledge yet.
Soon. So what is your commands? What shall we do?
Well, what do you need to best that fog or its source?
She just shakes her head and shrugs her shoulders. I'm not sure. I'm almost at a bit of a loss. And I know for certain it doesn't affect everybody. If I was able to fight it off as well as you two. However, it does seem quite difficult to overcome.
Is there any way that you could reach out to Tiger Claw or Tiger Soul, so that we can tell them what's going on and maybe they can prepare for our arrival and the arrival of the fog.
Unfortunately, not. I used what little I had left in order to bring you all back to normal. Had to recheck the spell slots just in case.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, it's clear we need to leave at first light to get to Blight, warn our father, and perhaps take him away to safety.
That's my next question. Do you recall how fast the fog was traveling? Do we have enough time to get a good sleep in?
Quite certain. We traveled. I mean, didn't stop. Definitely a bit tiring. But with that, we've created a bit of a distance. We should have at least 24 to 36 hours before we're in any sort of danger. Maybe more.
Tell us again, when did you first encounter the fog?
In the Whitethorn Forest to the north of the mountains.
How long ago was that?
Perhaps just over a week. About 8-9 days.
So, traveling within the fog, do you all rest? Has it been making its way steadily south?
Do not stop. It almost seems that it's not needed. We made it all the way to Windhelm quite quicker than expected. Then sitting outside, bit of commotion before heading to the south. Never even went in. Not sure what even happened there.
So, the fog has some sort of healing or sustaining power for those of it
She'll
in its
shrug.
spell?
Perhaps.
How else are we to believe that an army of men marched for a little over a week?
I mean, it makes sense. I don't know. The only thing I know for certain is, well, your mind does not become your own. And it seems to be somewhat avoidable.
I just want to roll insight on her because it seems a little weird to me that she also walked for a week straight without rest.
Yeah, you believe her.
Okay.
Definitely
Yeah, I
can
mean,
tell that from that insight that she's quite shaken up. That she seems to be relaying everything that she knows. It's, I mean, being a bit more inclined with the magic imbued to her from the gods, she seems to be a bit more powerful on that scale than Creptilli, but not too far off. So with her knowledge, she's still somewhat stumped as well.
Do you have any idea about the full scope of the fog? How large it may be? We couldn't seem to determine that in our interaction with it.
As far as I could tell, it just seemed to go on forever. But we didn't even attempt to move around. We were quite certain that it was just a trick that the gnolls were playing. Attempt to scatter about our defenses.
near the Whitethorn Forest.
Yes.
Were there any gnolls in the fog that you noticed, or was it merely our own men.
I didn't see any gnolls. Dismissed. No further questions. I'm sorry I can't be more of a help, but I've never seen anything like this. Not in any
Of
book.
course.
Not even. Not ever by my eyes.
Well, I think our best bet is to get some rest and leave as early as we can. We must warn our father and prepare the castle.
That seems like the best course of action for now.
I agree, it probably is the best course of action. My only concern is that if we do end up needing to evacuate Blight, that is no small task. If there were any way that we could stop it here, that would be preferable. Although I don't think it's manageable.
I do think your sister's right, Prince Crix. Well, Blight may have quite a large population. The castle has to be the safest place for each of you. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yes, unfortunately, I wasn't even thinking about evacuating the whole castle. Just our father.
Vera, could you do me a quick favor?
I think Beard just stepped out for a second, actually.
Oh, I was gonna ask for a weather forecast. Maybe we'll get lucky and a blizzard will hit and it'll freeze our problem away. I mean, that'll suck for our army, but
That'd be nice.
The fog would suck for our army too, though.
Fair point, just all in.
Like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
So just to double check, is that going to be your game plan? Just heading out as early as possible in the morning and heading back to Blight?
yes, and instructing all of the guards remaining at Exarchs to also evacuate. Leaving them there would probably only make the Fog Army stronger.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with us being on dog sleds, we'll pull far ahead of them, but they'll be fine on their own, probably. I mean, they are guards.
And the fog is pretty damn slow, so I think they'll be okay. Hopefully.
It's kind of inconsistently slow.
Hopefully the wind doesn't pick up.
Well, with the amount of discussion going on, Cryptilly, we'll say the 10 minutes has passed. You can go ahead and roll another prayer of healing if you wish. Nice. Everyone can get another 14 points of healing. But other than that, with nothing else looking to be accomplished during the night, each of you get a night's rest. While in a comfortable situation, each of you toss and turn a bit with everything on your mind, remembering a little bit more than others, and others feeling like they've had moments of their life ripped away from them, unable to regain that time. I suppose, luckily, with each of you having a little bit longer of a lifespan, it's not too bad. But if I'm not mistaken, each of you had 5,551 experience last I checked.
Yep.
Yep.
So if everyone can go ahead and add 1,255 experience, that should bring everyone what 6,700 or 806.
Yep, that's what I got.
Okay, well that does bring everyone up enough for a level. Each of you can go ahead and begin to upgrade your sheets to level 5. With this being a
Nice.
little bit bigger of a level, if there's any questions, please let me know. It shouldn't be too difficult, but just in case, feel free to ask.
I'm gonna roll for my hit points.
For like your max HP?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's you just roll your hit die, right?
Yeah, basically add your con. If anyone else would like to roll for HP, feel free. If not, average.
Are we gonna be sort of like leveling up our sheets and then like keep going, or
Yeah. I mean, unless it takes way too long to level. But if I'm not mistaken, most of the characters should just get like an extra attack and hit points. But ooh, damn good roll, Crix.
And then do I add the hit die modifier and my con mod, or just my con mod?
Just
to
the
that?
con mod.
Okay.
So I think that's 13 HP for you.
12.
12?
I have a +3 on my con.
I thought it was a
and that
4.
Not yet.
So once everyone confirms that they at least have their character sheet up to date, level 5, all that good stuff, we'll move along. But like I said, I'd want to just take a moment in case there are any questions. But while each of you level up your character, It looks like everyone's already updated. Oh, Creptilly with the max HP roll.
Nice.
Definitely needed that.
Yeah, it puts you back at about the average. So remember, you didn't have I don't think you had any ones, but I think you had a couple like 2s or 3s. It was a little low.
Yeah.
But just as another friendly reminder, with the level up, this will also give everyone full HP and your spell slots back, as well as like I'm pretty sure just on you get them back on like a short rest, but I may be wrong. But as well as like your key points, for an example, all everything that's important is restored.
Yep, that's right.
My Shadow's AC went up.
Oh no, that's not good.
Oh yeah, it is.
Not for me. How can I have just Stalin kill it again?
Right.
But just want to double check. Does everybody have their sheet good to go?
Not yet.
Okay.
I get to pick a spell, so I'm just trying to do a tiny bit of speed reading.
Mine is good, and I have my extra attack now. I am so much more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I've been waiting so long for this level.
For real.
It's like every fighter's dream, essentially. But like I said, I know a couple are going to be a little bit more difficult, as I'm sure Vieric is having to read over a few things as well. If there's another spell involved, that might be useful.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to have a spell already, but I don't.
Okay, well, how about this? While each of you read over a couple of things, having your game plan. If there's anything that you'd like to RP after doing a couple of rolls, each of you can make your way back to Blight, rolls provided, in just a little over a day's time.
Noise.
It says you currently know 0 spells.
Okay.
Um,
Now, if you're trying to add them, look like when you edit your sheet, go to like class, and then next to features, to the right of that under ranger is spells. Do you know which spells you're trying to learn?
No.
Okay, well, like I said, while you all look over that for just a moment, like I said, if there's anything that you want to RP, you guys have basically a little over a day before you make your way back to Blight, having the guard evacuating as well. Each of you could begin to tear out from the stronghold, making your way down. My only question is it May and Vieric that are piloting?
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah. I'm good to go now as well.
Okay, can both of you give me your preferred acrobatics checks at advantage? Well, Vieric, the advantage didn't pay much dividends to you, but still a pass. May has definitely gotten the hang of this, and at this point will no longer need any checks. Vieric, I need one more pass from you. You being knocked unconscious kind of effed you over there. But you're
Yeah.
alive.
That's all that matters.
So, just real quick, I'm gonna move you down bit by bit until you get back to Blight, in case there's anything you'd wish to discuss.
Lady Faye is with the guards.
Unless you're taking her with you.
No, I think we have to. Well, I don't know. We didn't talk about it, so I'm guessing no.
So, of course, because I've already rolled it out, as you all set camp for the night and such amongst your travels, the night is peaceful and continuing on the next day. At this point, bringing you all to May 5th. A common holiday here in Zidane, celebrating, I don't know, something. Just because it's Cinco de Mayo, right?
Celebrating a neighbor's victory in a random battle.
Oh,
Against a different.
I know what they'll be celebrating from here on out. Note to self, writing that down. Okay, so near midday, when making it back to Blight, each of you find yourselves back amongst the city, home, feeling a bit safer now within the stone walls. Each of you make your way through the north gate, being welcomed, saluted as you take the dog sleds in, and then what? Begin making your way to the castle?
Yeah, assuming I'm not having heard anything otherwise. Head straight to the castle.
Yeah, I would agree. Going straight to the king would probably be our first intention.
Okay. Let me just cue this stuff for you. But making your way back to the castle, making your way in through the double gates. Move each of you back to this map. Each of you can place yourself over at the entrance. Okay. And making your way up, you see the double doors leading to your father's throne room to be closed. You hear voices coming from within. It's a little indistinguishable, but you can definitely tell it to be your father. He seems to be yelling.
I guess we should go figure out what's got father all riled up.
After you, brother.
As you make your way in, Vieric, your father will stand, and a wide smile comes across his face. My son, you're alive? What about your siblings? Are the rest okay?
Yes, father, we're all good.
Why has there been no word?
To be honest, father, I can't quite tell you what happened.
What do you mean? Where are your brothers and sisters? Each of you making your way in, you see your father become more and more relaxed, Vieric, as the rest of the siblings make their way into the throne room. The rest of the royal court begins to part, taking a stance along the walls and giving each of you a path. The little gnome Belbin Hawklight not being so much in the way, quite smaller than the others. Speak. Each of you are to be back within a couple of days. And at least have sent word by then.
We weren't able to send word for the same reason Exar couldn't send word. North of the stronghold, we encountered a strange fog.
What do you mean?
It sort of put a spell on us. It was just us, siblings when we decided to explore north of the stronghold to see if we could figure out what happened to our uncle when we ran into it. And we ended up going into it, and almost all of us, except for Crix and I, fell under the spell of the fog and immediately started attacking each other.
Your father
did
looks
what?
to the rest of you for verification, seeing Varric a bit shocked.
That is what happened, Father. It seems the fog took hold of their minds and made it act as it pleased.
It's embarrassing, but we really don't remember what happened. Those of us that were influenced.
Of course not. It wasn't you. But it was horrifying. And Crix and I did our best to not, hurt anybody as we tried to subdue everybody.
As hearing the news, Cryptilia cross her arms and agree with Justin and just be like, it's quite embarrassing.
Ohan and
But more
King Errol will have Ohan and Rakor Tiger Soul begin to look over each of you, make sure that your wounds are attended to, and if anything else seems to be of a hindrance. But each of you are fine as they look over each and every one.
Yep, and I'll relate to Tiger Claw that in talking with Lady Faye before we left Exart Stronghold, she told me that she was able to remove this entity from us with what is that? Dispel magic, I believe is what she said, but she could do it on a much larger scale than I think I'd be able to.
Where is Lady Faye now?
She's coming here. She's evacuating with the rest of the guards that were remaining at Exarch's.
after we subdued our siblings, or rather during, Crix and I could hear an army marching within the fog. But we were quickly able to make our escape. However, we ran into Lady Faye, who was unaffected by the fog, and she told us that it was Exarch and a bunch of his soldiers.
Visceral speaks up and, excuse me, Your Highness, but then the whispers amongst the streets, I assume this confirms it. The individuals from Exarch had made their way here following your children's request. My ears on the street, little whispers, waggles of the tongue seem to be true. Your father gives a nod. When will the guards be here, May?
Well, I'm not sure. We left on the sleds to get here as soon as possible. Father, the fog is traveling south towards Blight. Lady Faye said it seemed to be targeting us as members of the royal family.
According to her, as soon as we entered the fog, all of the forces that she was with started making their way directly towards us. And she said she saw flashes of our faces in her mind as the fog was trying to take control.
Your
Is
father
there
will give Ohan and Tiger Soul a nod after they finish looking over each of you, and then with that, each of them will make their way out of the throne room.
Father, is there anything that we can do or that is known um, that might be wanting to uh, do us over?
Not sure, my children. I need a moment to think. This is almost surreal. Your father places his forehead like into his right hand and rubbing his index finger and thumb along the forehead, the forefront of his head. You can see him becoming in deep thought.
Not to add to your burden, Father, but we believe that the fog will make its way here after Exarchs.
How long till it gets here? We have days, weeks.
Days, maybe a week. At best, I fear.
I think 72 hours or less is a safer bet. 3 days.
We must prepare quickly. The others. He looks to the rest of the council. Excuse us, if you will. Each of them, giving a respectful bow, began to depart. Each of you step closer. Not that close. Jeez, Creptilly, give your brother some breathing room. No reason to step on him. And all joking aside, I didn't think that it would come to this, but I think it's time that each of you visit our family's tombs. You said that Nuvian had given you some words when you had spoken to him, correct?
Yes, he did indeed.
Maybe the rest can provide a bit of wisdom as well. I'm not sure exactly what this means, but I need each of you to be safe.
What about you, Father? You can't stay here.
And why not? I have a city and a country to lead. Cannot abandon them.
What will you do, Father?
Remain here. Make preparations.
And if the fog takes you over?
He gives you like a slight look, Creptilly, and just says, "Don't worry, it won't."
Do you know what this is, Father? Or who could have sent it?
Not for certain, but whom or whatever it is well, quite dangerous. If this seems to be focused on each of you, family, Blight itself, or whatever the case may be, these next actions we take may be very detrimental. We must think and plan accordingly.
So where are these tombs you speak of?
If it helps, I will swap back over to the map, but I believe they've been added. Let me double check.
Yeah, because time is of the essence, so hope it's not too far.
Yes, they have been added. If you'd like me to swap you back to the main map, I can.
Oh no, I think I remember.
There is one near the Whitethorn Forest, one over near North Point, which is like well off to your northwest, and then one that was marked just north of Direfrost, which is almost directly west. Pretty close, actually, where it's marked on the map, which is, of course, an estimated location. It's not precise, but pretty close, actually, to the southern Knoll Cave that you guys were at. Well, I'm not sure how fast those dogs can move, but if they're well taken care of, it seems that each of you can cover a bit of distance.
Yes, we'll get it done, Father.
My concern is, with the threat looming in the distance, is it wise for each of you to leave now? But perhaps time is of the essence.
We will not fail you, Father.
Where should we go, or what should we do if we hear that Blight has fallen? God forbid.
If that were to ever happen, if each of you don't feel up to claiming your rightful place on the throne, gesturing towards Vieric, and you amongst the people, then I think it best for you just to leave Zidane. Come back. Fight another day.
That's a scary thought indeed.
Of course we will, Father. I suppose I meant, well, never mind. I'm just worrying about it, I suppose.
For now, all we can do is our part and hope it works out in the end.
Everything will be fine, but we have to be out as soon as possible.
Where will each of you go first? Perhaps can have Ohan able to send word if anything is to go awry.
Well, Virik, what does your intuition tell us we should do?
I say we go to the furthest one first.
It's straight north, which is also the same direction as the cloud, so I don't think it's safe right now.
At this point, I'll bring you all back to the world map, if you will.
And I'm thinking, what if we have to turn right back for an emergency? That's a hard decision.
This is do or die. There is no turning back. We either succeed or Blight falls.
So, at the point, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so everyone can see this on the stream. Here, and here are the markers that were added. This one, you know to be your uncle, great uncle Nuvian, I should say. But, that gives you at least a slight indication of the locations.
So
Mainly due
we
with you
can-
all being here, you can start to make a little bit of a game plan.
So we can start with Dire Frost and just go clockwise.
Agreed.
Just for the record, that plan will probably take us at least a month, if not more, to do that round trip with the dog sleds, if I'm guesstimating right.
Weather provided.
What would you suggest, Crix?
It's hard to decide. I think the one near Dire Frost is probably our best bet to go to first. It's away from our enemy we know is coming, and even if it's a long shot, it may provide us with what we need to handle the situation. Because if we get lucky, we might be able to find the solution at the first one. And that would give us an opportunity, if we do find something useful, to come back, potentially around the time it gets here. If we don't find anything there, then we would probably just want to go the route that you're thinking of until we have an answer, but we can't come back without an answer to it.
Sounds like a plan to me.
That being said, it's a heavy decision. If we go, because we could make it to probably the northern one and make it back maybe a day or two, maybe 3 or 4 after it gets to Blight, if we manage to get around it somehow. But I don't know, it's all kind of risky. Either way, Blight is likely to fall, and that's a burden we'll have to live with. That's why, as the future king, it's your choice.
Well, there's no point in everyone dying. Dire Frost might be the move.
Well, with us, I mean, we're about a half hour away. I wanted to ask one thing at the end of tonight's session, and I guess I'll just do it now because it might take a moment. But I'd like to just check in with each of you and kind of just, I guess, maybe pick your brain, if you will. I mean, whoever would like to go first can do so, but getting like your, I guess like your character's feelings, if you will, and kind of like what you think is going on. And honestly, if you have no idea, you can just say you have no idea. And then I guess with that, if you have no idea, maybe your character is just confused.
Yeah, so right now, I think Creep Tilly, with the visions that she's gotten so far, seeing like the purple hues on Cilium, the mountains, it's along with Uncle Nuvi. Um, she's just kind of like, there is something trying to wreak havoc on our family. What it is, she's unaware of, but she really thinks it has something to do with our history so far, and secrets that haven't been told to the rest of the family. Um, she's still questioning how strong she is right now, especially seeing that Lady Faye was able to break out of the fog, but she wasn't. Um,
In all
and she's
fairness,
just
that should
looking
have been
for
a save
answers.
you made, bud. Wisdom saves are your bee's knees.
Yeah, it's all good.
I mean, not that like I mean, dice being probability. I guess I shouldn't say you should have made it, but I should say you had a higher percentage of making it. Anybody else have any input?
Yeah, I think May is feeling like super weird after just fighting her siblings, like in a very like life or death situation, and feeling very like sad and terrified at the thought of Blight falling to the fog. But like overall it just feels like similar to what Creep Tilly said, that like we're under attack, and she's eager to get out there and try to find a way to beat this thing.
The tactician in Crix sees how bad this situation is, and he sees that there's an enemy, but he feels helpless to fight it at the moment. And like he's kind of emotionally shaken at this thing because he's used to pretty much taking things head on and overcoming them, and he knows this is a situation where he can't do that right now, so he feels kind of helpless. He doesn't know what the enemy is, he just knows there's an enemy and he can't do anything about it right now.
Out of curiosity, what's the enemy?
Whatever the fog is.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't know exactly what it is. He just knows that that's a target that needs to be dealt with, and he has no way to deal with it, and he knows how bad the situation is, and it's just left him emotionally shaken. He may not necessarily show it,
Got
but
it.
it's probably close to the most helpless he's ever felt in his life.
And in terms of helplessness, just Stalin feels pretty similar. So at this point, he's kind of just riding the wave. And with everything that's going on, it kind of seems apocalyptic, more or less, because of the powers that be. And he's just trying to wrap his head around what is the origin, because it seems like there's certain types of patterns out there, the colors and everything that's going on all at once at one time. So there has to be some kind of intellect or some kind of force behind everything that's going on. So he's keeping an open mind to try to figure out what that is. But ultimately, yeah, definitely feeling powerless right now and weak.
I think Adachi is doing one of those, like in his head he's got like the cork board and he's got all the yarn going across, like he's trying to figure it out. So he's just like completely in his head trying to figure out what, like, because when he detected magic on that fog, like he got like just overwhelmed, like there was like he'd never seen anything like that. So I think his first thought is like obviously someone has something against the family, The biggest vendetta, like the most powerful creature that has a vendetta against our family, would be Cilium. Um, but then how that's never been part of the stories, right? But then he also knows that it seems like that it sounds like, assuming he was filled in, that fog came from the north around where that bandit camp had two of the tombs marked on it, right? So I think, or was that a tomb or just an X? Sorry. Yeah, so so it seems like that cloud appeared up north, and we found that map in the bandit camp. But then, why would that random bandit camp and half ogres wouldn't be able to create something like that? So that doesn't make sense. So it's just a bunch of things that seem like leads that just go into dead ends. And I think Adashi's just beating himself up that he can't figure it out.
Well, the heir to the throne.
So after hearing Daryl's dad talk, Varric's kind of nervous because he's like, "Oh my God, all this stuff is happening. This might be Dad's time. Am I really ready for this?" So he's nervous, but at the same time, he wants to figure out what's going on, get it taken care of, get to the next fight to prove to himself that he's ready for it. And also, he's thinking about the fact that he couldn't save the family from the fog. So he's like, "How can I run a whole country if I can't save my own family from something as quote unquote simple as the fog?"
Well put. Well, just to confirm, each of your plans are to head to Dire Frost and leave, I believe, the next morning, which will bring everyone to May 6th.
Yes, I think that is the plan.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Well, the Dire Frost tomb. I don't think we're actually going to be making a stop at Dire Frost proper unless we need to. Unless
Nope.
we are.
We might need food by then for the dogs.
Just at this point, with what has been relayed and what your father has kind of put forth, along with how each of you feel, relaying all that information, kind of thing. Each, you'll be able to get supplies needed, of course, with what is believing to be looming. You all will be given basically a plethora of supplies, be able to stock up fully before heading out the next morning.
Okay, sweet.
So, what will be given is a week supply. I think it kind of equivalents out to a couple hundred, maybe just a little under 200 pounds of meat. And then rations to supply each of you for an approximated 3 weeks time, so everyone can add 21 rations. If each of you believe it'll be about a month before being able to return, that is what will be given. Due to that being essentially all that can be given. A lot of siblings, a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Are we jumping back in the story that night or the next morning?
Depending on what needs to be accomplished. If there's more information, conversation that you'd like to have with your father, or going amongst the city, anything of that manner, then you have time to do so. There's still a few hours left of daylight before getting into the night.
I just want to try to get back on Katie's good graces.
Any particular way you'd wish to go about it?
I'm gonna toss her some meat and go try to pet her while she's eating and kind of ask her if she's okay and what's going on, you know.
Go ahead and give me an animal handling check. And while you're a bit nervous approaching Kitty after throwing her a bit of meat, she seems quite a bit more accepting of you than she had in the previous days. Rubbing up against you, you feel her purring. She rubs her cheeks against your legs.
Dope. I'm gonna pet her and say it's okay. Crix didn't mean it. He loves you too.
She'll just continue to give you like little bits of lovin'. Seems to be a little bit, I guess, more comfortable while Crix isn't around.
And I'm gonna find May and go over to her and Nyx and tell them thank you for looking after Kitty because I know it was them.
Of course, brother.
I'm gonna try to pet Nyx as well.
Crix, if you didn't already have inspiration, I'd give you another one because that's really funny. Because that's exactly what I did. Nyx is fine with you. Anybody else have anything they'd like to take care of?
I feel like Adachi would go to Ohan and just try to make sure that she's prepared to like get father out if things go bad.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check, Adachi.
Sure.
Unfortunately, as you search around, you're unable to find Ohan. She is
Cool.
definitely not in the castle. You're quite certain of that.
All right.
Oh yeah. While I'm doing everything for the night before I go to bed or before we head out, I just want to make sure I got like all my pittons, rope, and stuff like that back into my inventory. I know that I used some earlier.
Same
Yeah,
here.
I do believe, May, it was your rope that was used for hog tying.
Yes.
Yeah, and mine was the rope that we initially used for everybody to be holding on to as we went into the fog.
Okay. Since that the ropes were not mentioned, here's what I would like each of you to do. Cryptilli, because essentially it doesn't matter, but if you roll correctly, it actually may matter. Cryptilli and May, can each of you roll me a D100? As long as you roll above a 50, you'll have your original rope. If not, then you'll have a substitute. May, if you wish, you can have one rope that is 35 in length, as well as one that is 15. Two of the ends from both of the ropes are singed from Adachi breaking free, using bits of fire to singe the knot and kind of escape. And then you can also add another 50-foot hempen rope if you wish. Or you can just disregard the first one.
Sorry, that was a little confusing.
Basically, you can have one three hempen ropes, one 50-foot, one 35, and one 15. But the ones that are 35 and 15 have singed ends.
Got it. Okay, perfect. I will take that.
And Cryptilli?
I rolled in D&D Beyond. It was a
Oh.
93.
Was it though?
I mean, it was.
I
Oh,
believe you.
just kidding. Just kidding. I see what I did. I'm on the wrong character sheet.
I rolled a 106. Just waiting for your roll, Cryptilli. I don't see it.
Yeah, no worries. It was on Foe. It wasn't even on Cryptilli.
All right, so you'll have just one hempen rope, 50 foot. The only difference for
Cool.
you is that you'd have two, essentially. But if you want multiple, of course you can get it. But you don't have your original. That one is lost in combat, if you will.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, last checked in case anybody else has anything else they'd like to do.
I'm good.
All right. So, as we move on to the morning of May 6th, put you in timeout, Erie. Each of you can begin to make your way out of the northern gates quite early in the morning and head down bits to your southwest. Move each of you just outside the city of Blight as we end our session for the night, and I believe we will be able to get back to this within about 2 weeks, depending on scheduling, but for sure just all in doing adult things, moving up in the world, taking over the southeast area in whatever profession. I don't even know what you do.
Regulatory specialist, but nobody cares about that right now. I don't think.
What I'd like to leave you all with Crix pointing this out as well, this area is quite close to the southern knoll area that you had been to, and with making bits of allies there is quite a few options. The southern knolls, the tomb, Direfrost, and perhaps, I mean, other things. I guess it kind of just goes on for your imagination. So far, I believe the only place that you have really visited so far has been, besides Blight, has been the Stronghold. So, cities, quote-unquote, yet to be discovered. But other than that, everyone have a good night, and see y'all soon.
Yeah, we didn't die, fam.
Nothing but a headache.
So close.
Thanks, May.
I thought Adachi was
Thanks,
gonna do it.
Chris.
Rolled a nat
Yeah.
20 there at the end. I was like, oh, hot damn.
He
I don't
does
think
have
I
a
had a lot
little
of good-
warrior in him.
I don't think I had a lot of good spells prepared for you, which probably helped.
It did out, like, I didn't see shield prepared, and I was like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I actually, as I was watching the stream, I was like, why isn't he using shield? I was like, I realized when I got on, I was like, oh, yeah, uh-huh. I didn't have shield prepared.
Yeah, it was hard to tell, and then there were a couple spell slots that you had already used as well. So it,
Hmm.
because you were basically like, I'm gonna fuck around and use invisibility. So you had already used like a high level spell slot. And so I was like, alright, so that's -1. I know I can only do that one time. I know that you've done this, so I know that's a couple of like these gone. And then the only thing I was thinking was, thank goodness Adachi has decided to use most of his spells to just fuck with people. Because if not, Adachi would have been popping off.
Yeah, and I almost learned Misty Step, which means I could have just like
I
gotten all of
looked
the
for
rope
it. I was
instantly.
like, this motherfucker doesn't have it.
Yeah, I think my last spell I picked was Invisibility instead of Misty Step, so I was like, I
Yeah.
guess that was a good choice.
Well, I mean, that was essentially what I was looking for, was Misty Step and was going to bounce away. And then I was like, he doesn't have it. I guess I'll just go Invis and hope that, you know, it's a miss, because you've already demonstrated it before, so they kind of got used to what kind of paths to follow, which kind of made sense. But other than that, everyone have a good night. But good spell choices, and thank goodness you swapped some stuff, because I would have been able to shield some of Crix's hits.
Yeah. You could have Burning Hands them, but